So we have used to and would. Do you know the meaning of the word used to?
Đã từng.
Yeah, that's right. And here we have used to and would. They have similar meanings, but they have different uses. So let's come to the part about used to. So first, used to is used to talk about the past days that are not true anymore. So for example, in the past, we lived in New York, right? But now we don't live in New York anymore. So we say we used to live in New York when, right? When we were, I was a kid. And then if you use the for the questions, then you have to change the word into used to here. This you used to, not this one. Remember to remove the D here, if you want to make a question here, right? Used to. And we also use used to talk about past habits, repeated actions that don't happen anymore. So for example, in the past, you usually went swimming, right? Usually went swimming every Thursday. So it was a repeated action in the past, but now you don't go swimming anymore. So you say, I used to go swimming every Thursday when I was at school. I used to. This one. So we often say that for the habits, right? For the habit, we use present simple, right? But what about the habits in the past, right? So when we say bad habits, past habits, then we use used to. This one. So for the structure, we have used to and infinitive. It means used to and verb bear. This one.
Yeah.
And we also have this phrase, get used to, but it is different from used to. This one. For example, you just moved to New Zealand. You didn't get used to. You didn't get used to the weather, but then after some time you get used to the weather. So we have get used to. It means làm quen với, làm quen với. And for used to, it means đã từng. For used to, we have used to plus verb bear. But then for get used to, we have to use verb ing here. This one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so now let's move to would. So would is quite similar to used to. So we also use the word would to talk about repeated past actions that don't happen anymore. So for example, every Saturday I would go on a long bike ride. So it's mean in the past I used to go on a long bike ride, but now I don't go on a long bike ride anymore. So instead of used to, I also use the word would. I can also use the word would. But then would is more formal. Would is more formal than used to. Remember that. So for spoken English, we usually use used to because it's easier to say. It is often used in story as well. Story. And we don't normally use the negative or the question form of the word. Would for past habits. So for example, for used to, right, we have used to verb, and then we have, for example, did you used to do something, right? And then we also have she, for example, she didn't used to do something. But for would, we often have would do something. We don't use the word wouldn't do something to talk about past actions. Cái chữ would thì mình sử dụng cái thể khẳng định để nói về những cái hành động trong quá khứ mà bây giờ mình không có làm nữa. Nhưng mà còn về thể phủ định thì mình sẽ không có sử dụng chữ would thêm not, mà mình phải sử dụng didn't used to. Thì cái chữ would thì nó bị hẹp hơn là chữ used to thì mình xài được nhiều trường hợp hơn, còn chữ would thì nó trang trọng hơn, với lại nó là thường nó dùng ở trong story sang câu chuyện. Và thường chữ would nó sẽ không đi với những cái động từ trị trạng thái, ví dụ như là tự ở, đúng không? Chữ live chẳng hạn, chữ live. Ví dụ mình nói là tôi từng ở New Zealand mình có thể nói là I used to live in New Zealand, right? In New Zealand. Thì động từ live là động từ trị trạng thái, đúng không? Trị trạng thái mình không có một cái hành động nào cụ thể, cái này chỉ là một cái trạng thái của mình thôi. Thì cái chữ would này á, mình sẽ không sử dụng được với những cái động từ như này ha. Động từ live không sử dụng được. Động từ would ha, động từ would không có đi được với những động từ chỉ trạng thái, mình sử dụng used to thôi. Thế nên khi nào mình không có chắc mình cứ sử dụng used to, còn chữ would thì khi nào mình chắc thì mình hãy sử dụng ha.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's practice grammar.